A lot of people don't realize that ants are actually following a life cycle in the ants underground kingdom. Understanding that life cycle is fundamental for you to make better purchasing decisions and better hatching decisions as well. And in this video, we are going to be going into detail about the ants life cycle. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, join our Discord, and also follow us on Instagram so you always have the support that you need to really enhance your account and get yourself to the next level. Also, if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can save a lot of money when you make in-game purchases by getting some amazing cashbacks each time you purchase anything. Hello everyone and welcome to another video of the Sky channel. Now I did make a video similar to this one on insects. And in the insects case, the data was a little bit more complete because you know what? Insects only come out once every 7 months. Ants come out very often and there are different types of ants and different tiers. Some of them are released from islands, others are Bedouin ants, front row, back row, middle row. Let's just say there's a lot of variation when it comes to ants and the data isn't as widely reported or tracked as it was in the insects. So in this case, I'm going to be going through some of the information that we do have. However, it may not have that level of timelines that we had when it came to insects. Still, I believe it's a valuable thing and it's something that we all should learn so that we can make better decisions. Now, there's two sorts of ants that I'm going to be talking about. One of them is going to be the Bedouin ants and the other is going to be the island ants, which are basically released every time a new sort of island is released, like the vast jungle, barren land, wetland, etc. Starting with the Bedouin ants. Well, firstly, ants are released in events. Just like they were for insects, you get them available in events. And when they're first released, they're costing about $250 to $300 for a single copy. Now, unlike insects, you do need at least 3 copies of an ant to get it to 7-star or 6 copies if you want to get it to 8-star. This makes the cost significantly higher than just getting an insect. You could get a single copy. That being said, it is going to be a little bit of a reduced impact if it's just a single copy as opposed to getting it to 4, 7 or 8-star. That being said, it is definitely going to be in the meta when it is first released because the developers are going to make sure it is. They wouldn't release an ant if it's not meta because then nobody's going to purchase it. So why release it in the first place? That being said, similar to insects, after some time, that ant is going to get obsolete. For example, if we go really back down in the memory lane, Lathy Sniffer, one of the biggest hitters that was released, a Bedouin ant, an expensive one, and one really amazing at doing damage to everything. Right, it was a must-have ant for shooters. You definitely needed it for both PvP and PvE, and it was just spectacular. Of course, now it is completely outdated. And the one right now that everyone's talking about, which is needed for both PvP and PvE, is Rainbow Chaser. But down the road, Rainbow Chaser is definitely going to have the same fate as Lathy Sniffer when another ant or a bunch of ants come out that is far better than it and you don't really need it anymore. Like in our case, even when it comes to PvE, we have so many other better options. We have Emerald Jewel Ant, which is another Bedouin ant, or we have Sahan Silver Ant, which is a free ant. You never would think about putting Lathy Sniffer in your unit if you have some of these other ants, right? So what is that life cycle of ants, and can we really get them for free? Well, first of all, after some time, new ants are going to be available. They're going to start replacing the ones that were released before. For example, there's Emerald Jewel Ant, which by the way is still pretty good for PvE. But you know what? Rainbow Chaser is better. And what happened was that a few months ago, they released Emerald Jewel Ant for 3,600 points. A new ant is available for 6,000 points. This one was available in a chest and it was costing 3,600 points. Given the fact that you get some points for free, 3,600 points roughly equates to half of the price of the 6,000 points, meaning $125 to $150. This essentially slashed the price of the Emerald Jewel Ant in half, right? When it was new, it was released for 6,000 points, $250 to $300 US. Now it was available for $125 to $150. That's the first discount you're probably going to be seeing. Now, what's interesting is that I recall that not too long after that, they released another event where it was again available in the 3600 points chest, but this time they also had a +1 event going on. So instead of getting one Emerald Jewel Ant for $125 to $150, we were getting two. That's another slash in half for an ant that was once $250 to $300. At this point, you were looking at around $60 to $75 to get a copy of the Emerald Jewel Ant. Of course, a pretty nice price. Now, not too long after, the same ants that were available in that 3600 points chest became available in the one-time offer Powerful Special Ant. Here, for $5, you can buy a chest of any one of these three ants, and well, the chest works in an interesting way. It gives you between 8 to 20 fragments, and there's a percentage chance of getting each fragment. Now, do note I've done the math, and the average fragments you're going to be getting from this pack is around 10.52 fragments on average. In other words, you're going to be needing around 19 packs to get 200 fragments. The cost comes out to be about $95 US. It is actually not better than that 2-in-1 event that happened, which allowed you to get it for about $60 to $75. And given more time has passed and the life cycle of ants does make sure that the ants get cheaper and cheaper, I wouldn't recommend that you go ahead and purchase this. It's a little expensive for an ant that's continuing to get older and older, because sooner or later you're going to be starting to see it much cheaper. And so what's that next step? What happens after that? Well, after this, the ants start becoming available for free. And while there's two places you can get them, one of them becomes the surprise wheel event. Remember, where you can actually get those points and then you can save them up until you get enough. And 600 points gets you a paid ant. And the other one is that crab event where you use those fish and the other items and you get through levels, and each level gives you a certain number of shells. And at level 5, you get 50 fragments of one of the paid ants. Those are the two ways you can actually get those ants completely free, because you don't need to pay to get level 5 for that event. Same with the surprise wheel. You could be patient and work things out, and eventually you get to 200 fragments by saving up 600 points. Now, in both those events, you could pay to get stuff faster. You could get up to level 10 where you get another 50 fragments. And in the surprise wheel, you can buy extra spins and get more points faster and get those copies. In other words, for paid ants, when they're first available, they're available for $250 to $300. Then the price goes to about half when they're available for 3,600 points. Remember, at that time, they probably aren't going to be the meta. They're still probably going to be good. Some people might still even buy them, but they're not going to be meta. There's probably going to be another ant in your class that is probably replacing that ant that's now for 3,600, or it's about to be replaced soon. Then the next step happens to be this, with adding it for $95, and then it becomes completely free through the surprise wheel and that crab event. We get those fish in level 5 and level 10, give you 50 fragments each. Now, you could definitely raise the argument, what about that buy one get one free thing that I was talking about a little earlier, where the price was between $60 to $75? Why didn't I include that? Well, I'm currently assuming that might be an anomaly. I could be completely wrong, but the fact is, I've also seen a buy one get one free event at 6,000 points, which essentially brings the price down to the same $125 to $150, but kind of forces you to get two, right? Because you still got to spend 6,000 points to get two. I'm not completely sure if the buy one get one free event is going to be there every single time, because of the fact that you're paying about $60 to $75 for two copies if you're getting a 3,600 points pack with the buy one get one free. And remember, the latest buy one get one free also gave a free awakening item as well. So it seems more like a really good deal as opposed to a pattern that they would likely follow. Because why would somebody get an ant for about $65 and get the awakening for free and then pay $95 on this event where they're giving you a chance to buy fragments of that same ant? It doesn't seem to make the most sense. I think if a lot of people do end up spending a lot of money getting these fragments from this particular offer, maybe they're just going to wipe out that buy one get one free, at least for the 3,600 point package. So for now, we're going to assume the buy one get one free is an anomaly. We'll see if it becomes a pattern later on. So, given this information, what's the best strategy to use? Well, if you're a big spender, you probably want to get 3 copies of the ant when it first comes out, because at that point it's meta and it's going to stay meta for a while. The more you wait, the closer you get to it getting to 50% off. And at the same time, the more you wait, you're actually spending on an ant that's probably going to be replaced by a better one. So the first event when it comes out, that's when it makes the most sense to purchase a few copies of it. Or if you want to be patient and you want to get it at 50% off, then don't buy it in the first few months. Wait for that cost to get half and then purchase it for that 50% off instead. Now, if you didn't buy it the first time it got available for that 50% off, again, I would probably say wait things out, let it become free at that point and just get it then. I'm not sure it makes too much sense getting it for $125 to $150 just a few days before it becomes available for free. That's the paid ants. What about the season ants? Well, season ants work a little bit differently. There's 2 season ants of each class. One is considered the meta and the other one is considered the secondary one. For example, in the shooter wetland ants, red velvet is the secondary ant. What's going to happen with red velvet is that it's going to become obsolete much faster than the other one, which is Sly Hunter. And what that means is that Sly Hunter is going to remain in the meta for a reasonable amount of time and probably going to stay in the meta even when the next season starts. That's not going to be the same fate for the red velvet. The moment the new season comes out, it's probably going to be replaced immediately. Jumping one season back, the non-meta ant for our vast jungle was CI, while the meta one was Sahan Silver Ant. And we all know that even after some time, Sahan Silver Ant remained the meta even when Sly Hunter came out, right? Everyone was still using Sahan Silver Ant because it maintained its meta position. Of course, now it's probably been replaced, but it's been a while and probably a new season is going to come out. But essentially, the point I'm trying to make is that if you really want to invest in one of the season ants, you probably want to be investing in the meta as opposed to the non-meta, which definitely does not seem to be the case in mine. You can see CI is 8-star, Red Velvet is 7-star. I just happen to be much unluckier than most people, and then I have to stick around with what I get. And as you can see, the 2 meta of both Guardian and Shooter, I actually haven't even hatched. That's the sort of luck I have. I mean, don't compare yourself with me. I'd still recommend investing more in the meta ones because they're gonna last a little bit longer. The others are probably gonna lose their value very soon. Now, season ants, their life cycle essentially is like that, right? You have the better one that's gonna last a little bit longer. The not too good one, it's gonna lose its value very fast. You can purchase them in a bunch of different ways, and after some time, they become available in the Supreme Hatch. Now, when they become available in the Supreme Hatch, it's definitely something worth celebrating, but it's also worth noting that if they're available in the Supreme Hatch, it does mean that unfortunately they're probably going to be removed from all metas very soon, because now they're sort of completely free to play and anyone can really get them at this point, right? So when I see Sahan Silver Ant in this list, I realize that, you know what, it's about time and I guess it's going out of the window soon. So is it really that worth investing in it? I don't know. But anyway, you could see that season 4 ants have been added here, but not the meta ones. Red Velvet, White Crystal, Rainbow Wings are part of the secondary season 4 ants. The ones that are primary, Sly Hunter, Bison, and then the only meta ant that I have from the wetland happens to be for carriers, of course, because I'm a shooterman, is the Mimic Crawler. Now you could also purchase that $30 pack in the season, which gives you one of those season ants. Do note that, of course, the meta is not going to be included. The first season it was, the first Lost Island, you could actually get Wise Berserker, which was the meta from Lost Island, from that $30 pack. Now they make sure that any of these good ants that you really need are not going to be there. There's a lag before they get available. By the time you see Sly Hunter in there, Sly Hunter is probably no longer meta. They also eventually add them in the $25 Special Ant Growth Plan. As you can see, Wise Berserker was added here. There does seem to be a fairly large delay before they actually add those good to have ants here. They probably don't want to make it $30 too soon. And that's pretty much all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope some of the advice was helpful for you. And before you go, I want you to know you can save a lot of money in the Ants Underground Kingdom using my promo code, which up until early October is going to be Sky9. But if you're watching this in October, check out my Discord server where I do keep everyone updated on the promo code changes, and also the YouTube community tab where you'll be able to see what the latest promo code is. Note that you may need to add the promo code both in the Aptroid wallet as well as in checkout. If you see a prompt to add it, do add it there as well so that Aptroid knows which of the purchases you want to use the promo code for. Keep in mind that you only have 5 uses of the promo code every 30 days, meaning you want to maximize the promo code for larger purchases. For example, buy a $100 Antcoin pack using the promo code. Then if you want to buy anything that's $5 or something, use the Antcoins that you purchased earlier. That makes sure that you're getting 5% extra bonus on the full $100 as opposed to getting the 5% on small purchases and then running out of chances to use the promo code. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.